slump is kind of a relaxed downward motion. It's something low. It usually has kind of a negative meaning. It doesn't always have to be negative, but most of the time it sounds pretty negative. If something is slumping down, oh, well, let's say that the opposite of slump is erect. So this is slump, and this is erect. I have a picture here. Let me find my picture. That's not it. Oh, here we go. So she's not sitting straight. She's kind of like this, and that's slumping. Okay, and let's see. Actually, there's a special word for that, which is slouching, but you could say slumping too. The word slump is used when talking about the economy. So if you are thinking about graphs, any period where there's like a down area is called a slump, because slumping kind of means going down, kind of depressed. So if you watch the news, you might hear them talking about an economic slump. So you have to imagine the graph. Everything is going up, 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 but then there's a period like this, and that is a slump, because slump is kind of going down. Okay, you can use it in life. If you say I'm in a slump, that means I'm in a very bad, low period of my life. It's common in that way. I'm always in a slump. I never have an upward period. It's always just going down. Perpetual slump. Okay, let's see how we can use slump in some sentences. Right now, the stores are experiencing a very low period of sales. Instead of saying very low period of sales, we can say a slump in sales. A slump in sales. Hadi Hassan Atari says, stone hurling. Yes, you can hurl a stone. And yes, Hadi Hassan Atari, you can be slumped in a couch. Although if you say slumped in a couch, you probably would say slumped down in a couch. I don't know why, but you would use the word down there anyway. But it just kind of means relaxed, not very tense, but also has this idea of down. Okay, so let's see. We've got, right now the stores are experiencing a slump in sales. Let's make a why question with the stores are experiencing a slump in sales. Why? Why are they? Why are the stores? Why are they experiencing? Why are they experiencing a slump? Experiencing a slump. Why are they experiencing a slump in sales? And here's the reason. Because everyone is finished with their holiday shopping. Everyone is finished with their holiday shopping. They are experiencing, they're experiencing a, they're experiencing a slump, they're experiencing a slump in sales because everyone is finished with their holiday shopping. Hadi Hassan Atari says downfall in sale, decline in sale. I wouldn't say downfall in sale because downfall is more associated with how do you even convey that to people? It's usually when you're trying to talk about something that went very high and then went very low, and maybe you're happy about it. That's kind of a downfall. Or maybe not happy about it. You could be sad about it, but you have feelings about it. So the downfall of the BlackBerry, I don't know how old you are, if you remember the BlackBerry. It used to be very popular 20 years ago, and then suddenly when smartphones came, there are no more BlackBerries. That's the downfall of the BlackBerry. It's kind of like the death of the BlackBerry. It's kind of like death. Downfall is sort of like death. Very similar, maybe not exactly the same. Decline in sale, that's good. You could say that. The difference between slump in sale and decline in sale, decline is really very much like the picture in the graph that you can see in the video. That's really more of a decline. But when you say slump, the idea is you're thinking probably it will go back up eventually. So if you say decline in sale, you're just really describing the downward part. But when you say slump, you're kind of thinking it will eventually go back up, probably. You're more optimistic, I guess, if you talk about the slump. Okay, here, let's try another example using slump. After a long day at work, Mary went home and sat in her chair. So this is kind of like your example, Hadi Hassan, that slumped in the couch, because I'm going to use it here, meaning that kind of same way. After a long day at work, Mary went home and sat in her chair and fell asleep. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with that sentence, but it's a little bit boring because I just picture she sits down and then she goes to sleep. But if we say, after a long day at work, Mary slumped down in her chair, well, you understand she's very, very tired. It was a horrible day, and she was so tired, she fell asleep immediately. So Mary sat down, but this is Mary slumped down. Ugh. So that's the difference between sit down and slump down. Mary slumped down in her chair and went to sleep. You're saying there's a connection problem? I don't think there's a connection problem. I don't have a connection problem over here. I hope that stops. I don't think so, though. Fabian, if you're still here, are you also hearing a connection problem? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay, or if you also have a connection problem. Okay, so we've got Mary slumped down in her chair. We've got down in her chair. She slumped down in her chair. Mary slumped down in her chair. Let's make a why question. Why? Why did she slump down? Why did she slump down in her chair and go to sleep? Why did she slump down in her chair and go to sleep? And the reason is, the answer is because she was exhausted. She slumped down in her chair. She slumped down in her chair. She slumped down in her chair because she slumped down in her chair because she was exhausted. She slumped down in her chair because she was exhausted. Okay, let's see how they use slump in this paragraph again. Let me get rid of this here. How did they say slump? There was a sigh of relief that escaped from the lips of Nick as he slumped back into his chair, on which he had been sitting in a rigid position. So before he was very tense and rigid, but then he slumped down in his chair, back into his chair, and now he's more relaxed. All right,